Imagine a world without borders, without nations. A vast continent thrived with millions of people, a tapestry of hundreds of unique cultures and civilizations. From the monumental cities of the Mississippian culture to the intricate societies of the Southwest, this was a world entirely unknown to Europeans. But that was about to change. Welcome to APUSH Period 1, 1491 to 1607. We will explore the diverse civilizations of North America before European contact, their cultural adaptations, and their complex relationships. We will then examine the dramatic arrival of Europeans, the subsequent Columbian exchange, and the devastating consequences for indigenous populations. Before European arrival, the Americas were home to an estimated 50 to 70 million people. These populations were not monolithic. Instead, they were incredibly diverse, each group adapting to their specific environment, developing distinct languages, political systems, and ways of life. Geography shaped everything. In the arid Southwest, indigenous people developed irrigation systems to farm maize. In the dense forests of the Northeast, tribes formed confederacies and relied on hunting, gathering, and the Three Sisters crops: corn, beans, and squash. In the eastern woodlands, a sophisticated civilization known as the Mississippian culture built massive earth mounds. The city of Cahokia, near modern-day St. Louis, was a major trade hub with a population of up to 40,000 people, a testament to their advanced social structures. Adapting to the arid environment of the Southwest, the Pueblo peoples constructed complex multi-story adobe homes built into cliff faces. They cultivated maize, beans, and squash using intricate irrigation systems, demonstrating remarkable agricultural ingenuity. In the Northeast, the Iroquois, or Haudenosaunee, established a powerful confederacy of 5 tribes. This political alliance was based on a great law of peace, demonstrating a sophisticated system of governance and diplomacy long before European arrival. Beyond agriculture, Native American societies had diverse economies. The nomadic peoples of the Great Plains followed bison herds, using every part of the animal for food, clothing, and shelter. Along the Pacific coast, tribes thrived on the abundance of salmon and other marine life. As the 15th century ended, Europe was undergoing massive changes. The Renaissance fueled a desire for knowledge and innovation. Nation-states sought to bypass Italian and Arab merchants to gain direct access to Asian goods, like spices and silk. Exploration was made possible by new technologies. The caravel, a nimble ship with lateen sails, could sail against the wind. The astrolabe and compass allowed for more accurate navigation, enabling long-distance ocean voyages. In 1492, Christopher Columbus, sailing for Spain, landed on an island in the Caribbean. He believed he had reached the East Indies. This single journey, while not the first to the Americas, would set in motion a chain of events with global consequences. Columbus's voyages initiated the Columbian exchange, a massive transfer of plants, animals, diseases, and technologies between the Americas, Africa, and Europe. This exchange would forever change global diets, economies, and population patterns. The Americas gave Europe a new agricultural bounty. Crops like maize and potatoes were highly caloric and easy to grow, leading to a population boom in Europe. Tobacco and sugar became valuable cash crops, shaping the economies of both continents. Europeans brought horses, pigs, and cattle to the Americas, transforming agriculture and transportation. But they also brought devastating diseases like smallpox, measles, and influenza. Lacking immunity, indigenous populations faced a catastrophic demographic collapse. The impact of disease was immediate and horrifying. In some areas, up to 90% of the Native American population perished. This depopulation was the single most destructive consequence of European contact, leaving societies in chaos and making conquest easier. Following Columbus, Spain dominated early exploration and colonization. Driven by God, gold, and glory, conquistadors like Hernán Cortés and Francisco Pizarro led small forces to conquer the powerful Aztec and Inca empires. Hernán Cortés arrived in Mexico in 1519. He used alliances with rival indigenous groups and the psychological shock of horses and guns to overthrow the powerful Aztec Empire and its capital city of Tenochtitlan, despite being vastly outnumbered. To control labor and resources, the Spanish established the encomienda system. This system granted Spanish landlords the right to demand labor or tribute from Native American populations, essentially creating a form of forced servitude. Spanish colonization created a new social hierarchy, known as the casta system. It was based on race and ancestry, with those of pure Spanish blood at the top and those of mixed or indigenous ancestry at the bottom, creating a rigid social structure. Not all Spaniards agreed with the brutal treatment of indigenous peoples. Friar Bartolomé de las Casas was a vocal critic of the encomienda system. He wrote, a short account of the destruction of the Indies, exposing Spanish cruelty and advocating for native rights. While Spain focused on conquest, France and the Netherlands had different motives. French explorers like Jacques Cartier sought a northwest passage and established a lucrative fur trade with Native Americans. The Dutch established a small but influential presence in New Netherland, centered on trade. England's early efforts were limited. John Cabot explored the North American coastline in 1497, but his voyages did not lead to immediate colonization. Political and religious conflicts, like the Protestant Reformation, distracted England from overseas expansion for most of the 16th century. England's first attempt at a permanent settlement was the lost colony of Roanoke. Established in 1585, the colony mysteriously disappeared by 1590, leaving behind only the word Croatoan carved into a tree. The failure of Roanoke served as a warning for future colonial efforts. By the early 17th century, the Americas had been irrevocably changed. The period of 1491 to 1607 laid the groundwork for future conflicts and cultural blending. The arrival of Europeans and the Columbian Exchange reshaped global demographics and economies. The arrival of Europeans was not met with a unified indigenous response. Instead, Native American tribes often forged temporary alliances with European powers to gain an advantage over rival tribes, a strategy that would have long-term consequences. The period from 1491 to 1607 marks the birth of the Atlantic world. The Americas, Europe, and Africa became linked through trade, migration, and the forced movement of enslaved peoples. This interconnected network would define the next several centuries of global history. Despite the devastating conflicts, a new cultural synthesis began to emerge. In areas of Spanish colonization, the mixing of indigenous, European, and African traditions led to new languages, foods, and religious practices. The age of exploration fueled intense rivalry among European powers. Spain's immense wealth from its American colonies inspired other nations, like England and France, to accelerate their own efforts, setting the stage for centuries of colonial competition. Let's review what we've learned. The Americas in 1491 were a world of diverse, complex societies. European arrival brought the Columbian Exchange, which led to a devastating population collapse from disease. Spanish colonization was driven by a quest for gold and glory, resulting in the encomienda system and a rigid social hierarchy. The period from 1491 to 1607 is a critical foundation for understanding the rest of American history. It's a story of different worlds colliding, with consequences that continue to echo today. We hope this documentary helps you in your studies.